Hi, my name is Tim Field, and this is my leadership story. When I was in high school, I wrote a poem called High Air Balloon Ride, and it describes my life. Because on a high air balloon ride, you have ups and downs, and sometimes you just can't even control where you go. The wind just takes you places. That's my life. These two lovely people are my parents, Tom and Maureen Field. They met in the early 70s. My mom is a secretary and was from Windsor, Connecticut. My dad was a printer from Bristol, Connecticut. They met through a mutual friend. After they got married, my dad lost his job as a printer. So, on his way for an interview, he got lost in a town called South Windsor. He went in to the local police department to get directions and saw that there was an opening, so he applied, and he became a police officer from that day on. Being baptized is one of the most important events in my life. Ted Murrell and Hespler were chosen as my godparents and have been like another set of parents for me. They've helped me out when I've struggled, and religion has played an important role for me. I've been a part of youth group and the St. Vincent de Paul Society. They both have taught me many different skills, and that is important to help people. My sister Kate has been a constant companion in my life. She's a confident friend, nature lover, and world traveler. I was identified in having a speech impediment at the age of 3. Going to elementary school was very hard for me because I was behind in reading and hated reading out loud because I struggled so much. I was always in the low reading group, aka the snail group. My mom and dad pushed me to excel. Sometimes I struggled, and sometimes they struggled with me. But I succeeded, and in 4th grade, I ran for class treasurer and had to read a speech out loud to my classmates. I won. Then in 5th grade, I received a medal for being such a kind, caring, responsible student. Middle school was hard for me, like most people I know. When I was in 6th grade, there was a student in 7th grade that would come into our class and make fun of the students. And if you didn't laugh, the next day he'd come and make fun of you. He also enjoyed pushing other students into lockers, punching them. One day, in the beginning of October, I said something to him. Then he made fun of me and pushed me hard into a locker and pounded on my face. That made me hate middle school. But if you think about it, what kind of teacher would let a student who's not even in the right grade come into their classroom, make fun of their students, and watch them pushed into lockers and not do anything about it for a whole year? High school. In high school, I took a different path and tried new sports and new activities. I played football and wrestled. I never wrestled in my life until I joined the team my junior year. It was the first time in my life that I wasn't good at a sport, so I had to work on it. I worked very, very hard, and finally, near the end of the season, I was a varsity wrestler. At the end of the season, I received an award called the Ironman Award because I never gave up and worked every day to become better at wrestling. When I was in high school, Columbine happened. This is a major event. I couldn't figure why 2 kids would go into school, shoot innocent people, just because they were picked on. I just can't get it still today, why people would do that. After high school, I went to ECSU, Eastern Connecticut State University, and became a leader to my peers. I was a student orientation counselor for 3 years, and then in my last year, I was the head student orientation counselor. I worked very closely with the Vice President of Student Affairs and the President of Eastern Connecticut. I also was the president of a club called CARE, Creating Awareness, Responsible Energy. There's a couple things I learned real quick about this. 1, people don't always work as hard as you do, and 2, people sometimes take shortcuts in life. In 2006, I bought a house with someone, got a dog, and became a teacher in Hartford. The relationship with the person that I bought the house with did not last, so I was stuck with a high mortgage and had to restructure my game plan. So I got some roommates, which helped me stay with the house until I could sell it 3 years later. Right before I sold my house, I met my wife Karen. We dated for a couple years, then we bought a new house, and then 10 days later, we got married at that house. Call us crazy, but we were able to pull it off. As a teacher and a future administrator, you hope never to have to see something like Sandy Hook ever again. But if you do your best to prepare if it ever happens under your watch. In July, I became a father for the first time to Connor Field. It's my responsibility now to make sure that Connor becomes a positive member of our society.